Hey there. Have you ever wondered why Johnny Depp's characters are so unforgettable? Why does he have this magical way of drawing you into the story, making you feel every emotion as if you were right there with him? It's almost like every character he portrays is one that sticks with you for days, even weeks. But what is it about his acting style that makes us remember him so vividly? Why do we connect so deeply with his performances? If you've ever found yourself completely immersed in a Depp movie, you're not alone. There's something about his approach that feels different from the usual Hollywood routine. And today, we're going to take a closer look at what makes his storytelling so powerful. Spoiler alert, it's simpler than you might think. The key to his success lies in a few straightforward concepts that we can all apply to our own work. But here's the thing, Depp's storytelling style isn't just about his characters. It's about how he taps into his imagination. And that's a tool we all have at our disposal. Imagine if you could channel that same creativity, that same ability to craft characters so vibrant and real that people remember them for years. Imagine telling a story so compelling, so emotionally rich, that your audience feels like they've lived through it themselves. Well, good news, you can. And the way to unlock that kind of storytelling power is easier than you think. By the end of this video, I'll show you how Johnny Depp's creative process can teach you how to bring your stories to life with the same energy and intensity. When you think of Johnny Depp's characters, the first thing that often comes to mind is their complexity. Depp doesn't just play characters, he completely becomes them. Whether it's the eccentric, unpredictable Jack Sparrow or the whimsical, strange Willy Wonka, Depp's characters are never one-dimensional. They're full of life, quirks, and depth. And that's exactly what makes them unforgettable. His ability to embody such diverse personalities isn't just about memorizing lines or following a script, it's about connecting deeply with the character on an emotional level. It's about understanding who they are, where they come from, and how they view the world. But here's the twist, Depp doesn't rely on fancy acting techniques or overly complicated methods. What makes his storytelling so engaging is his ability to build characters from the inside out. Depp takes time to imagine each character's past, even when that backstory isn't included in the movie. For example, when he plays Captain Jack Sparrow, he doesn't just think of Jack as a pirate. Depp thinks about Jack's childhood, his family, his experiences, and the journey that led him to where he is today. It's the details that Depp builds in his mind that make Jack feel so real, even though the audience might never hear about them. So, how can we apply this to our own work? It's simple. When you're building your own characters, whether for a novel, a screenplay, or even a YouTube video, start by thinking about their backstory. Ask yourself, what is their history? What was their childhood like? What are their motivations? What drives them to do what they do? Even if you don't reveal all of this in your story, just knowing these details will give you a much clearer idea of who your character is and why they behave the way they do. Let's say you're creating a character who's down on their luck. Maybe they've lost their job, or they're going through a rough patch in their personal life. Instead of just showing them as a sad person, dig deeper. What happened to them before this? Did they grow up in an environment that made it hard for them to trust others? Were they once successful but now struggling to rebuild their life? Understanding the layers behind their actions and decisions will allow you to create a character who feels truly fleshed out, someone who resonates with your audience. Another powerful tool in Johnny Depp's storytelling toolkit is his willingness to embrace the quirky, the unusual, and even the odd. Depp's characters are known for their weirdness. Think of Captain Jack Sparrow again. He's not your typical pirate. He's unpredictable, messy, and, let's be honest, downright bizarre at times. But that's what makes him stand out. Johnny Depp knows that characters who embrace their eccentricities are the ones who stick with people. No one remembers the characters who are just normal. It's the quirky ones, the ones who break the mold, that leave a lasting impact. And this doesn't just apply to Depp's fictional characters. Even in his real-life persona, Depp is known for his unique style and unpredictable nature. He's not afraid to stand out, and that's what draws people to him. So, when you're crafting your own characters or stories, don't shy away from the unusual. Instead of making your characters perfect or predictable, let them be a little messy. Give them strange habits or unexpected traits. Maybe your character collects weird trinkets, or perhaps they speak in riddles. These little quirks make them feel alive and real, and they're the kinds of things audiences remember long after the story is over. But let's be real for a second, sometimes, we all hit a creative block. We try to come up with ideas, but nothing seems to click. That's where Depp's most important storytelling tool comes into play, his imagination. Johnny Depp is known for his ability to think outside the box. He doesn't limit himself to conventional ideas or safe choices. Instead, he lets his imagination run wild. He once described his mind as a free-floating balloon, drifting wherever it wants to go. And that's the beauty of creativity. When you allow yourself to think without restrictions, that's when the best ideas come to life. And here's the secret, you don't have to be a genius to tap into your imagination. In fact, creativity is something anyone can develop, even if you don't think of yourself as artsy or creative. All it takes is practice and a willingness to let go of perfection. If you're feeling stuck, don't be afraid to let your mind wander. Write down whatever comes to mind, even if it seems silly. Draw or sketch without worrying about what it looks like. The more you allow yourself to think freely, the more your creative ideas will flow. And trust me, those ideas are the ones that will make your stories truly shine. There's another important aspect of Depp's storytelling that we can all learn from, his ability to connect emotionally with the material. Depp's characters aren't just about the plot or the dialogue. They're about emotions, the deep, raw feelings that drive us all. Whether it's Jack Sparrow's playful bravado or Edward Scissorhands' gentle tenderness, Depp's characters resonate because we can feel their emotions. We understand their struggles and their joys. And that's what makes us care. When you're working on your own stories, think about how your characters feel. What emotions are they going through? What do they want most in the world? And most importantly, how do those emotions drive their actions? Emotions are the key to connecting with your audience. The more you understand and tap into the emotional core of your characters, the more your story will resonate with others. Here's a personal example. I once worked on a short story about a character who was dealing with the loss of a loved one. At first, I focused only on the situation itself, the loss, the sadness, the mourning. But when I took a step back and thought about how the character was feeling, the loneliness, the confusion, the anger, it made the story so much more powerful. It wasn't just a sad story, it became a journey of emotional healing. The emotions that drove the character were what made the story feel real, and they were what connected with the audience. Now, let's talk about some pro tips. These are the insider tricks that can help you take your storytelling to the next level. First, let's talk about finding inspiration in unexpected places. Johnny Depp is known for seeking out the unusual when it comes to inspiration. He doesn't just look to typical sources like books or movies. He's drawn inspiration from old art, forgotten history, and even music that most people wouldn't think twice about. So, when you're looking for inspiration for your own work, don't be afraid to look outside the usual places. Explore something new, an old painting, a quirky documentary, or even a piece of music that resonates with you. Sometimes, the best ideas come from the most unexpected sources. Another key tip is to embrace failure. Depp has openly said that he embraces failure as part of the creative process. He's not afraid to try things that don't work, and he's learned to take those failures in stride. And that's something we can all learn from. Creativity isn't about getting everything right on the first try. It's about experimenting, taking risks, and learning from mistakes. So, when things don't work out the way you planned, don't be discouraged. Instead, see it as an opportunity to grow and try again. Remember, failure is just part of the journey, not the end of it. Lastly, make room for imagination to roam free. Sometimes we get so caught up in making our ideas perfect that we forget to just have fun with them. Johnny Depp is all about allowing his characters and stories to evolve organically. So, when you're creating, don't be afraid to let your ideas shift and change. Let your imagination run wild and see where it takes you. You might just end up with something better than you ever expected. By now, you have the tools you need to start channeling your inner Johnny Depp. So, what's stopping you? If you've ever wanted to create characters that stand out, stories that captivate, or ideas that leave people thinking long after they've finished watching or reading, then it's time to start trusting yourself. Let your imagination guide you. Dig deep into your characters' emotions and histories. And most importantly, don't be afraid to embrace the weird, the quirky, and the unexpected. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. What's the most creative character you've ever created? What makes them stand out? Drop a comment below, and let's chat about it. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my next one, where we'll talk about how to bring even more emotional depth to your characters. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more tips, and share this video with your friends who are also looking to unlock their storytelling potential. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see what you create next.